Hey, is Taylor Swift flirting with godliness? There is a bit of panic going on among, we call them Swifties. See, I'm way into pop culture, man. I love pop culture. Can't spend enough time around the pop culture because it's pop and it's culture. So we're called Swifties. And if you don't know what that is, you should look that up. But those of us on the inside of the Swift world, we know that. So Taylor Swift has a new video out, and this young woman took it upon herself to frame this up the way everybody should think about this new album. And incidentally, if you've not seen it, Taylor Swift, who has become probably a like 50% owner at this point of the NFL, because the NFL decided that all NFL football fans want to watch Taylor Swift sitting there watching her fiance-husband dude play the game. So Taylor Swift's new album apparently is something that we need to think about in a new way. This young woman frames it up and tells everybody, here's how to think about this in your Taylor Swifty head.
Taylor Swift is handing the conservative agenda on a silver platter to the masses. And before I go any further and before you argue with me, you cannot convince me that the master lyricist of our generation, akin to Shakespeare, the Easter egg master of our generation, is not aware of what her entire optics and lyrics and album and everything is giving at this very moment. And before you suggest that this was supposed to be a satirical album, I would like to remind you how she feels about this album in her own words.
World to me to have this creative experience where like we knew that we had to bring the best ideas we've ever had.
Yeah.
And I know
Is she saying we, as in her husband, helped with this? Her husband... Her husband, the football player who's gone from dressing like a pimp on the Rockford Files to suddenly dressing like a dad. And this is on his brother's podcast or TikTok or whatever. Okay, so we got it. They're holding the album too. Sorry, Taylor, didn't mean to interrupt you while you were swifting.
I also know the pressure I'm putting on this record by saying that, but I don't care because I love it that much. And there's not other ones coming. This is the record I've been wanting to make for a very long time.
I'll try to rapid fire this as fast as I can so that my video is not an hour long, but we're going to start with the rollout of the album, the announcement of the album on our boyfriend's football podcast. Our boyfriend who plays for the NFL, who we are now aligning our brand with, who is one of the most racist and problematic industries in the country. Yeah.
The NFL that has the so-called Black National Anthem. There isn't one. It's a beautiful song, meaningful song, left every voice, great. It's just not a national anthem. We only have one. The NFL that forced players to wear the names of people who were sometimes criminals, such as Jacob Blake, a guy who was on his way apparently to a house to beat his ex-girlfriend with whom he had a child. And it was two black women who called the police and said, hey, Jacob's on the way here. Please come and help us. He has sexually assaulted us before. We don't want him here. And the police responded, and Jacob Blake went for a knife and tried to take the cop's gun. And I remember an NFL football player had Jacob Blake's name on his helmet. That's the racist NFL young woman's talking about. Now, has Taylor Swift been aligning her brand there? Oh, no, that's all organic. Oh, no, Fox Sports. No, they just showed Taylor Swift up in the stands because yes, of course she's aligning her brand. And of course there's money going back and forth. But is she flirting with godliness? Might be. Now, she might not know it, but it might well be that Taylor Swift is flirting with godliness. Now, she'd have to find her way to getting married. She'd have to find her way to understanding why marriage exists. She'd have to open her heart to the Lord Jesus. And maybe then she'd get there, but she's got one piece of it. She gets business. Give her that. Taylor Swift gets it. There's no doubt in my mind that she likes these conversations about this change in direction. And there's a lot of people who get business cold. They've been in it for 5, 10, 15 years. Things have built up. They've got employees. They've got assets. I think of a friend of mine who has a boat company, boat sales, rental. He has also this business of renting amusement toys that go out in the lakes. So like floating bubble houses and things like that, rents houseboats, things like that. And his business is a walking, breathing time bomb for lawsuits. Okay, boat rental, boat starts on fire, floating house sinks. And he has all these things set up under all these different companies. None of them had the corporate veil. He heard me talking about Bizible at gobizible.com. That's the website, and said, do I have the corporate veil? Turns out he didn't. Many people don't. So you think because you have an LLC or a corporation, a lawyer can't sue you for your retirement account or your house? Not if you don't have the corporate veil. You think that you can't have your bank come and say, hey, you know that loan you took out? We're going to need to take your house because the business failed. If you don't have the corporate veil, that can happen, and many companies do not have it. Visible will tell you if you have it, and they'll do it for free. A free, no obligation consultation. You'll find out if you actually have the corporate veil. Go to govisible.com. That's a website with a Z, govisible.com. And here's the best news. If you do not have the corporate veil, Visible will fix it for you in 7 easy steps. It's govisible.com. So I think Taylor Swift gets the business of what she's doing. She's a smart business people, has smart business people around her. But is it possible that she's flirting with godliness? You will know them by their fruits. Taylor Swift apparently wants a family, wants to be a mom, wants to have a basketball hoop up on the garage, wants her kids to be safe and playing. Well, it would require a huge mind shift from her. She'd need to abandon her belief that God doesn't speak about marriage between man and a woman. She'd need to abandon her belief that it's okay to unalive children in the womb. There'd be a lot of abandoning, but maybe she's taking the first step. I say that because of how it's outraged her fans.
I subjected myself to listening to Taylor Swift's new album, and the song Wishlist, yeah, that's Tradwife propaganda. That is straight up Tradwife propaganda. Why else would you put a song about wanting a whole block of kids looking like you while we're going through the...
What we're going through? Why would you want to have kids that look like you? Well, I guess God did this thing where he designed kids to come out from one man, one woman in marital union who look like them. Oh gosh, why? God made us in his image. In his image, he made us. Male and female, he made us. He called us his masterpiece. When we engage in the process of marital childbirth, we are doing something in conjunction with God where we get to have a little tiny glimpse of what that must be like to create life in our image. Thank God, not perfectly in our image. But you see these moments as parents. There's a look that my daughter puts on her face sometimes. Unconsciously, it's the same look that my wife unconsciously puts on her face. I love that look. There's a pose that my daughter uses sometimes when she's thinking with her hand on her hip, and it's the same pose that my wife uses subconsciously, hand on hip. There's things that my daughter says sometimes. One day she said, I can't stand it when people are late. That is so disrespectful. I am obsessive about being on time. God gives us a tiny glimpse of what it must be like for him to have 100 billion children. Some who never come home. They don't call. They don't write. They deny he exists. Some who try their best to be good kids but fail, and he consistently helps them up and he forgives them because that's what parents do. Sometimes he lets them fail, leaves them to their own devices, and often they come back and say, I'm sorry, I've been a prodigal. Yeah. So we get this tiny glimpse. So is Taylor Swift flirting with godliness, or is she secret mega?
Is Taylor Swift using her music to red pill you? In short, yes. This is Tradwife, red pill, MAGA softcore being served to us in a pop album. I know a lot of people are analyzing the lyrics and they think the lyrics are terrible, but actually the lyrics are quite questionable. There are some thinly veiled racist lyrics on this album, there are some very misogynistic takes on this album, and the entire song Canceled is basically what happens when conservatives think that someone on their side is being canceled. And I can't help but call back to that scene in Miss Americana where Taylor is basically fighting against her own team to be able to speak out on what she believes is right at the time, which is LGBTQ rights, which is standing up for women, which is showing her support for the Democratic Party.
So Taylor Swift has abandoned this because Taylor Swift wants kids and a home. She's abandoned her side. She's flirting with godliness. Now, she is in danger of becoming godly. She is in horrible danger of becoming godly. If she were to get pregnant and have a child, she'd be in huge danger of becoming godly because she would behold in her hands a life that she gets credit for creating, but didn't happen through her. She'll hold in her hands responsibility. She'll hold in her hands a little baby, pure at that point, free of sin. She'll hold in her hand a little baby, pure, free of sin, in a world gobbled by sin. And she'll have a decision to make. Is really the thing I want to take with my child, that all things are allowed because nothing is forbidden, and that you're just a clump of cells, but now animatory, and you simply just end when you end and do what you do? See, she is at risk. And of course, Taylor Swift has made a career out of courting the support of LGB so-called T and Q members. And there's, of course, a response that has to come from that so-called community.
I came across a video today of someone calling Taylor Swift's new album Republican coded because
it obviously is. And if you can't realize that, you're a victim of the media literacy crisis. If only for the song Cancelled, where she, the billionaire, paints herself as the victim of cancel culture. People rightfully pointed out the person she was dating did a racist thing. But beyond that, I mean, that's...
Did a racist thing. The person she was dating did a racist thing, ergo, secret mega.
No, that's obvious. Making, number one, that, and number two, an album about, like, an idealized form of, like, what is a typical American family, ideally, of, like, living in a suburb, being in a monogamous relationship, finding peace and joy, and basically just kind of being a housewife. Those are Republican virtues. I mean, I'm not saying...
Peace and joy in a household with a child are Republican virtues. God thought of it first. Actually, God thought of it first.
Bad things, but they are things that Republicans and conservatives and sometimes liberals use. And ignoring that they are used in that way in our political climate is not like a gotcha moment. It is a lack of media literacy.
So if you like peace and harmony in a home with kids in it, you are a victim of media literacy if you don't understand that your family is weaponized. So whatever great family time you had this summer, maybe you guys went kayaking together, you went hiking together. Maybe it's as simple as having your kid over for a birthday party. Maybe it's as simple as watching your little ones do things for the first time. And you and your husband and your wife, or however that works with you, you're the wife, he's the husband, I don't know. But however that works, if you guys celebrated that, man, you're a weapon. You're a political weapon. Got it?
So yeah, Taylor Swift's new album is clearly political, right? Even if it's not intentionally so. And it is political in exactly the politics that likes to hide itself, which is conservatism. Further, doing this album, which is basically like a victory lap that is bad, all people are literally being disappeared by a Gestapo, there is a genocide going on, and rising fascism in America is distasteful.
But Taylor's the political one because she wants kids. Got it.